Okay, whenever you see a star, that means to show your steps. In number 1, it says, in the given right triangle, find the missing length to the nearest tenth. Here's the missing length we have to find. So we can use a Pythagorean theorem, which is L squared plus L squared equals H squared. And let's see, wherever you see this box, the right angle, these are the legs that make it up. These are the legs, and of course this would be our hypotenuse. So we don't know the hypotenuse. So let's see, this leg is 7 squared. This leg is 24. And again, we don't know the hypotenuse. Okay, 7 squared, 7 times 7 is 49. And then 24 squared, I put that right over here to make it easy for you. That's 576. And that equals H squared. Okay, now I need to add these two together. So 49 and 576. See, if you need to, just stack them right here. 9 and 6 is 15. 7, 8, and 4 is 12. So that makes 625 equals H squared. Now I take the square root. And the square root of 625, hey, wait a minute. 25 times 25 is 625. Right? So that means that this is 25. H is 25. And if I look, there's the answer right there. Letter B. By the way, notice that you could pretty much eliminate possibilities if the longest side is, if this is 24, and you know H, the longest side has to be more than 24. Okay, well you know it cannot be this, and it cannot be that, because it has to be more than 24, because this is the longest side. So it must be more than 24. That's why A and C are not the answers. There's no way. All right, number 2 problem. Let's see if we can estimate our answer. First of all, the longest side, this is the hypotenuse. This is the longest side, the hypotenuse. And that's 24. So this letter Y, this one right here, cannot be 24. It has to be less than 24. And notice you have one of your answers is 27. There's no way that could be the answer. It has to be less than 24. So it may be any one of these three here. But that eliminates that one. Okay, so our equation is L squared plus L squared equals H squared. And here's your box. So this is a leg over here, and this is a leg over there. And of course, this over here is a hypotenuse. So we know one of the legs is 13. The other leg, we don't know. That's what we have to find out. And the hypotenuse is 24. Okay, so 13 squared. By the way, I wrote that to the side. 13 squared is 169. You don't know what L is. And 24 squared, I wrote that to the side. That's 576. Okay, so I want L by itself. I need to get rid of 169. So I will subtract 169. Minus 169, minus 169. Okay, so that leaves us with L squared equals, so I need to borrow, let's see, so that's a 6, that's 16 minus 9 is 7, and 6 minus 6 is 0, 5 minus 1 is 4, 407. Okay, now I need to take the square root of that, square root of both sides. That's going to give me L is equal to square root of 407. Okay, let's see if we can figure this out. Hey, wait a minute. 400, isn't 400 20 times 20? Isn't that 400? 20 times 20 is 400. So the square root of that would be just 20. This is 407, so it's about 20. It's a little more than 20. So that means our answer is that. And by the way, it has to be that because even if you did not know 407, you know that 12 squared has to be 144. And 4 squared, this is 16, a little bit more than 16. So you know it has to be this answer. Number 3, estimate the integer near square root. Well, I know that 11 times 11 is 121, and 10 times 10 is 100. So it's between 100 and 121. What is the closest? Square root 105? Well, that would be closer to 100. So 10 is closest to 10. Okay, I don't know if that made sense to you or not, but a square root of 100, that's 10. Square root of 121 is 11. And the square root of 105, that's closer to 100. So therefore the answer must be 10. This is about 10. Closer to 10 than 11. Okay, at the top to number 4. I know that square root 16 is 4. Square root 25 is 5. So what is square root 22 closest to? Is it closer to 25 or 16? It's closest to 25, so that means it's 5. It's closer to 5. That's our correct answer. The next one, 66. I know that 8 times 8 is 64. Square root of 64 is 8. And you can tell right away that's pretty close to it, can't you? Because I know that square root 81 is 9. And 66 is closer to 64. Therefore, it's closer to 8. So that's our answer. Okay, I have negative 7, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 times. So I have negative 7, that whole bunch, 6 times. So that would be the letter J. Now, this one right here, letter H, some people would pick H, but that is the same thing as this. That's the same thing as negative 7 times 7 times 7 times 7, 6 times. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay? So this one is for the letter H. This right here is negative 7 to the 6th power. Number 7, I have this expression, and I'm going to put negative 1 in there for x. Just substitute it in there. Okay, so I'm going to put negative 1 in there for x. So it looks like that. So now, let's see. How much is negative 1 squared? Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. Negative 1 times negative 1 is positive 1. So I have 3 times 1 minus 4. 3 times 1 is 3. Then I have 3 minus 4. And 3 minus 4 is negative 1. So our answer is letter B. Okay, number 8, simplify this. So notice I have 5 x's, and then I have 9 x's. 5 of them and 9 of them. 5 and 9 makes 14 x's. Okay, because if you spread this out, x to the 5th, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. See that? There's multiplying in between those. 5 of those and another 9 of those makes 14 of those. And for my y's, I have 6 and 4. That would make 10. So the correct answer is letter H. Number 9, I'm going to multiply the numbers together. So I have negative 7 times 3. That is negative 21. Then I have my c's. How many c's are there? I have 6 of them and 2 of them. That would make 8 of them. So the correct answer is letter Letter D. Okay, number 10, same thing. Negative 5 times 2 is negative 10. Then I have c to the 5th and c to the 7th. 5 c's and 7 c's make 12. 12 c's. So the correct answer is letter F. Negative 10c to the 12th. Okay, turn over your paper. Okay, on number 11, we have 5 x's on top and 3 x's on the bottom. So notice that these will reduce. And so what do we have left? We have 2 x's left on top. On top, not on the bottom, but on top. So that means I would have x squared up on top. So the correct answer is letter D. Okay, on 12, we have negative 3 3 times on top. On the bottom, we have negative 3 twice. So these will reduce to 1. These will reduce to 1. What are you left with? On top, you're left with just negative 3. Therefore, the correct answer is letter G. Okay, on number 13, we have x to the third 5 times. So x to the third, x to the third, x to the third, x to the third, x to the third. There's 5 of them. So how many x's do I have total? I have 3 here, 3 there, 3 there, 3 there, 3 there. That means it's 3 times 5. That would make it x to the 15th. Okay, number 14, instructions say write the expression without a fraction bar. So when we're done, the answer cannot have a fraction bar in there. All right, so like here's a fraction bar. Okay, so we have y to the 7th, that's 7 y's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. And on the bottom, there's 9 y's. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. So let's see, these will reduce to 1. And right here, you're left with y squared on the bottom. So basically, we have 1 on top and y squared on the bottom. But you know what? None of those answers are there. The reason why is they said, write the answer without a fraction bar. So, in other words, we need to take this and move it up. If we move it up, it then becomes a, remember, if we cross this line, you have to change the sign of the exponent. It now becomes a negative. So the answer is this, y negative 2. If you move this up here, it becomes y negative 2. What happens to the 1? Well, it's like 1, y negative 2. Or just y negative 2. And that is our answer. Number 16 says write it in scientific notation. Remember, in scientific notation, we have 1 digit, the decimal point, and then whatever remaining numbers like 0 that you need, like 0, 5. Then I say times 10, and I have to write down the exponent here tells me how many spaces I moved the decimal. And if you notice, all the answers are 2.05. It just has a different exponent on each 10. So here's the decimal place there. Let me kind of zoom in on that a little bit. And there it is there, and I want it over here. I'm moving it there. How many spaces did I move it? 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 spaces. So that means the exponent is 4. So our answer is letter G. Okay, and by the way, remember, positive exponents are for big numbers, negative exponents are for little numbers. On number 17, notice how small this number is. It's not a negative number, it's just a very tiny number. And notice the exponents on these answers, they're all negative exponents. So, and notice it's 7.32, all of them. I'm going to write this as 7.32 times 10, and then how many spaces are we moving the decimal from here? And let's see, I want it 7.32, so I want it right there. How many spaces is that? That's our exponent. So if I count it, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. It's 8 spaces. And because it's a tiny, I moved it this way, the decimal to the right, it's a negative exponent. Because it's a tiny number. Tiny numbers have negative exponents. So the correct answer is letter C. Number 18 asks us to write this number in standard notation. In other words, make it a regular number. It's scientific, make it a regular. So I'm going to have to move this decimal. Let's see, it's a positive exponent, so that means I'm going to move it. Sorry, it's positive exponent, so I'm going to have to move this to the right. It's a big number. It's 5, 2, 8. Let's see how many spaces. I have to move the decimal over 5 spaces. 5 spaces. So from here, from there, move it over 5 spaces. 1, 2, 3, I have to put a 0, 4, there's another 0, 5. And there's the decimal. So the number is 5280000. So what is our answer then? 528,000, that would be the letter J. Number 19, it's a negative exponent. That means it's a tiny number. This is a tiny number. So I'm going to have to move the decimal to the left. And so I'm going to start out with the numbers 537. I'm going to write it right here. 537. Our decimal is here. And decimal's here. And I'm going to have to move it this direction because it's a tiny number. 4 spaces. So it's right here. So I'm moving it over 1, 2, 3, 4. That's where the decimal goes. So there's our number, 0.000537. And that would be letter C, 0.000537. Okay, the remaining problems are simple 2-step equations. Show all your steps. I put the problems to the side so it's easier to find the answer. Okay, number 20, I'm going to add 26 to get rid of minus 26. I'm adding 26. That's gone. And that leaves me with 2x. 26 and 10 makes 36. 2 times something is 36. If you don't know that, you divide by 2, divide by 2. And so I want half of 36. Half of 36 is 18. So our correct answer is letter J, 18. By the way, you can always plug it in to check it out. 2 times 18 is 36, and 36 minus 26 is 10. It works. The next one, I want to get rid of the minus 6 first, so I add 6. Add 6. Okay, that's gone. You have now 3x equals negative 9 plus 6. Negative 9, there's more negative, so the answer is negative. And just take them, they're different signs, so subtract. 9 minus 6, that's 3. And there's more negative, so it's negative 3. Can you tell your answer by looking at it? 3 times something is negative 3. And if you're not too sure, you can always just look over here. You can tell it's got to be the negative 1, letter A. And if you didn't know that, divide by 3. And you can see 3 goes into 3 once and 1 negative. So it's negative 1. And if I plug the answer in, it works. Negative 6 and negative 3 is negative 9. It works. Number 22, I want to subtract 9. That's gone. And this gives me x over 5. 4 minus 9. Well, they're different signs, so I subtract. 9 take away 4 is 5. There's more negative, so it's negative 5. All right, next I want to get rid of divide by 5, so I multiply by 5. But you have to do it on this side also. So that's gone. Negative 5 times 5. 5 times 5 is 25, and there's 1 negative. So the correct answer is letter G. Okay, let's go to 23. Okay, I have a plus 6, so I subtract 6. And that's going to give me negative 3x equals negative 9 and negative 6. That's negative 15. Okay, you might be able to look at the answer and tell it. If you can't, just go ahead and divide by negative 3. And you can see here that 3 goes into 15, 5. And the 2 negatives cancel. So the answer is just 5. So the correct letter is letter B. And remember, you can always plug it in and check it out, see if it works. Substitute it. Number 24, I add 3 first. To get rid of minus 3, I add 3. And that's going to give me 1/4 y equals 9 plus 3, 12. To get rid of 1/4, just multiply by the reciprocal, 4 over 1. So I need to do the same to the other side, multiply by 4 over 1. And again, notice how the 12 is on top, in case you did not know that. Okay, so I just have 12 times 4 is my answer, because these reduce to nothing, to 1. And 12 times 4 is 48. And if I look over here, there's my answer, 48, letter F. So when you have a fraction, remember, use a reciprocal. Just, flip it. Do that to both sides. Use reciprocal on both sides. Okay, and the last one, I forgot to put the letter in. I was in a hurry. That's the letter M. All right, so I first want to get rid of the minus 7, so I add 7. And 5 and 7 is 12. On the other side, the 7 and minus 7 cancel. And I just have negative 1/3 m. Sorry about the sloppiness there. Negative 1/3 m. And that negative can be at the top if you wish. Doesn't matter where you put it, top or bottom. But I'll just say it's on top. So negative 1 over 3. To get rid of a fraction, use a reciprocal. 3 over negative 1. Okay, and that will get rid of, that's reciprocal. But you have to do the same to the other side. 3 over negative 1. Okay, so what happens here? The 3's cancel, the negative 1's cancel. You're left with the letter m. They're reduced to 1. And over here, 12 times 3, it's like a 1 over it. 12 times 3 is 36, and there's 1 negative. So the answer is negative. And if you look, it's a letter C is the correct answer.